I bet you could chalk up the Lakers and Grizzlies in that fashion. Game 1, Rui Hachimura missed just 3 shots and led all Lakers with 29 points off the bench as LA won 128-112. Ja Morant also left that game late with that wrist injury. Game 2, the Grizzlies got revenge and held the Lakers to 93 points, but it was what was said after the game that everyone buzzing. Dylan Brooks did some jawing saying, quote, "I don't care, he's old," when referring to LeBron. Yeah, well, since then, the Lakers 2-0. LeBron is averaging around 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. Also, if you're wondering, with Brooks as a primary defender, LeBron is 12 for 20 this series, 60% from the field. No one said it was a good idea to call out LeBron James, which they are learning now as we welcome in our NBA reporter Dave McMenamin, who is covering the Lakers in Memphis. LeBron didn't show his age the last couple of games, Dave, but it's going to be important to monitor how that injured foot holds up 1 day's rest after logging 45 minutes on Monday. So what are the Lakers saying about LeBron and the mileage and the foot?
Yeah, Matt, he was so gassed in Game 4 that actually he signaled for timeout late in the game so he'd get a blow. Darvin Ham had a conference call with reporters yesterday. He made it clear that this is an issue of exhaustion and not injury. LeBron James will have time to recharge in between games. Obviously, he has said in the past that his secret sauce during the postseason is just getting a lot of sleep. He feels like that's his best route for recovery. And LeBron also recognizes that the closeout game, which he's 39-11 in his career, is the toughest game of the series. Now, we also talked about Anthony Davis. Davis has had 2 dominant games in Games 1 and Game 3 and 2 kind of bad games in Games 2 and Game 4. Now, I reported that he's dealing with a hip pointer that he suffered in the penultimate game of the regular season against the Phoenix Suns. So it's about 2.5 weeks that he's been dealing with it, and sometimes the pain spikes and sometimes the pain can be managed, but certainly, just like LeBron James, he recognizes the importance of being in a closeout game and not playing with your food, as we heard Devin Booker say at the top of the show. The Lakers, when they won the championship in the bubble in 2020, they were up 3-1 in every series, won every series in 5 games.
Yeah, but I can promise you the bubble was not as loud, if at all, as it's going to be tonight in Memphis in a closeout situation. Very studious Dave McMenamin with us this afternoon. Dave, thank you. Tim Legler back with us. You kind of heard him say it there. Anthony Davis has been inconsistent through the first 4 games on offense. He needs to be a guy for the Lakers to make a deep run. What does he need to do starting tonight?
It's all mindset. It really is with Anthony Davis. You have to know that at the start of the game, he's just fully engaged, and he came there with the intent on doing damage, because there's not an answer for Anthony Davis, not just in this series, but any night that Anthony Davis takes the court. It's because he's 6'11" and he's a great mid-range player. Not a lot of guys have that combination, so he can go over the top at any point and shoot the basketball really with ease. It's mindset. Is he in an aggressive state of mind when he gets to the arena? When the game starts, are they running their offense through him to get him touches? You're going to be able to tell pretty early. Game 2, I just thought he looked disinterested. I thought Game 4 was more about the way he felt physically. He was really hobbling around. This is going to be different. He's got to come out there and understand the significance of the moment. Do not let this get to a situation where you're back home up 3-2 with 1 home game left to close it out. And I think LeBron senses that moment as well. This is a game the Lakers want to take care of it. Anthony Davis is going to have to set the tone early. You'll know by the end of the first quarter where he is. And if he's on that level where he feels like he's untouched and unmatched on the court, the Lakers are going to win this game.
Look, and we ID'd this matchup as a tough matchup for the Grizzlies, taking on this Lakers team going in, regardless of what the regular season bona fides were, and we've seen that here through the first 4 games of this series. So the Grizzlies, a best 36-7 at home this season. We know it's going to be difficult. How do they extend this series?
It's very simple for them. It really comes down to making shots. They just haven't had enough guys relieve pressure on the perimeter. And this is a team that can get after you defensively or physical. We know some of the stuff they can get involved in with the back and forth and the chirping. Bottom line is the ball has to go in when Ja Morant gets into the paint and draws multiple guys. When Jaren Jackson Jr. starts in his post moves and multiple players are in the paint and that kick out comes, it can't just be Desmond Bane. It's got to be the rest of that supporting cast, and they just have not shot the ball well. That building's going to be rocking. They're going to have a ton of energy and emotion. They're going to hit the Lakers with a gut punch at some point in the first half. If the Lakers can withstand that, keep it a 1-possession game in the fourth quarter, all of the pressure will shift to Memphis. And that's what really I think Darvin Ham is hoping for. Let's just stay with his striking distance. Don't get hit with a blitz of emotion. If Memphis makes a ton of shots, ton of threes in this game, they're going to be in great shape.
When it comes to experience in this situation, that favors the Lakers and LeBron because he's been here so many times before. We saw playoff closeout basketball last night. Will it happen again tonight? Tim Legler with us. Leg Day here on SportsCenter.
The Bucks find themselves in a position that nobody wants to be in, and that is facing Jimmy Butler when he's like in this mode of playoff Jimmy with everything on the line here. So let's talk about defensively for Milwaukee and what they need to do to try to slow him down because he is on another level right now.
Yeah, listen, 95% of the time teams find themselves in this situation, Sage, they lose the series. So why do I think Milwaukee is still a very dangerous team? Here's why. You went 2.5 games without not only your best player, arguably the best player in the NBA. 2.5 games without Giannis. You also had a situation where you had a lead, a late lead in game 4, and it took a guy going for 56 points to put the nail in the coffin in that game. So that's why, all things considered, Milwaukee is one of the more dangerous teams that I have seen down 3-1 in a really, really long time. Here's the key, though. You're going to have to switch up your coverages on Jimmy Butler. Enough of the one-on-one coverage, letting him get to the middle area of the floor for these mid-range jump shots. I think Giannis needs to guard him more and stay with him throughout the possession. And I also think you're now at the point you're going to have to start hitting Jimmy Butler with some blitzes and some traps once he gets into his dribble move to make him give the ball up. The Heat have made a lot of threes in this series. They've actually matched Milwaukee for the most part, which no one expected. But I still think that is where you dare the Heat to beat you. They were the 4th worst three-point shooting team in the NBA, and they don't have Tyler Hero or Victor Oladipo. Make other guys step up in this moment and have to beat you. You can't let one guy just destroy you the way that Jimmy Butler has throughout this series.
Yeah, you know what? I think that this coaching matchup tonight is going to be incredible to watch, all the adjustments that Eric Spoelstra and Mike Budenholzer make. Again, 2 championship coaches going at it tonight as well. But as far as Giannis is concerned, Tim, he can't do it alone, especially with that back injury. We know he's not close to 100%. So who else? Chris Middleton, Robin Lopez had an incredible game the other night. Who else do you need to see?
I'm going to put it in the collective stage in this way. It's the role-playing three-point shooters. When you look at Milwaukee throughout the regular season, when they really put you away with these onslaughts, it's because of the three-point shooting of their role players. Now go back to game 2, the one game they won. They made 19 threes, and that's just the guys not named Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, because they made 25 overall. 19 out of the role players. They've made 19 total, that same group of guys, in the 2 games since then. They should not be getting matched from the three-point line by the Miami Heat. And yet, in this series, Miami has made as many as them in one occasion and more than them 2 other occasions. That is just not something that Budenholzer expected coming into this series. So look for the guys we just had on that highlight reel to have a big impact. The Bobby Portises, the Pat Connaughtons, the Joe Ingles of the world, Brook Lopez. Those guys collectively have to step up and put a lot of pressure on Miami by making a ton of threes to loosen things up for Giannis.
How about this stat, Tim? We love stats here. But this one, stats don't lie, right? The last